up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360, back with another live recording for y'all on Sunday. It's game day, week 14. Lions at Bears at Soldier Field. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I'm hearing it's going to be pretty cold out there, about 30 degrees. It's going to be on the lake, so you know it's going to be like a 10, 15 wind chill factor. But listen, man, hang out today. We're going to talk Bears football. We're going to talk about the Lions game, give you some predictions. We're going to get some input from the audience today. I want to hear from y'all today, man. But hang on a second, man. I got a little package for y'all, man. We queuing up. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to test this out and see how it goes and roll with it like that. So let's see how it goes, and we'll.
Second down and 4 off the fake. Fields climbing the pocket. Stepping up and sidearm slings to DJ Moore into Detroit territory.
And just like
offensive line changes today.
And just like that, we're back. Let me pause this. We're going to get back to some film work, but I just want to open the show with a little bit of package, man, to get the fans excited. Y'all know what's next, man. We're going to cue the intro, Maestro. Let's go. Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back, Chicago Bears fans, man. Let me get a little bit situated here, man. It's kind of a last-minute situation, bro. So I'm cramming a little bit. Kind of cramming a little bit. Gotta get myself comfortable, man. But appreciate hanging out with you this Sunday morning prior to the game, man. We're gonna talk Bears or Lions and Bears today. The second of our divisional series matchup against the Lions, the divisional leaders. The Bears coming off a loss 2.5 weeks ago versus the Lions, where, you know what I'm saying, we just couldn't finish the game. A lot of good things during that game. You know what I'm saying, productive offensive play, although I didn't care for the style of play and the game plan overall. We were productive in that game. And then we saw a lot of good defense. Coach Eberflus was, basically had, I believe, Ben Johnson numbers. He was out scheming him with running a lot of cover 2 zone. So we're going to take a look at the defensive side of it today. Something I normally don't do on the show, right? I normally don't focus on our defensive side of the day, but we're going to take a look at some film work today and focus on the defensive side of the show. Before we do that, man, let's give a quick shout out to all the field soldiers out there. Make sure you're subscribing, man, subscribing to the channel. Trying to get all these metrics and graphics right. Make sure you subscribing to the channel and watching this on the playback and letting us know who you rocking with, you know what I'm saying, for the game. Even for my Detroit Lions fans that might chime in today, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm loud and proud. I want to hear you, you know what I'm saying? I had a great time at the game a couple weeks ago in Detroit, by the way. Shout out to Detroit, the city. All of you in the city, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, crazy out there. The city's doing a good job of kind of rehab in the downtown area. The restaurants was good. You know what I'm saying? I had some good wings down there. Coach is always good for some wings. You know what I'm saying? I start with the drums, but I'm also always going to finish with the flats. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to ask me the question, the answer to the question is both of them. My preference on the wing situation. Anyway, we're going to get into it some more today. We're going to get into the film, man. Y'all say, give your shots out in the chat session. As we get warmed up, I'm going to cut some of these banners off, man, so my eyes aren't going all crazy and stuff like that, man. But listen, I hope I got the new graphic up. But either way, we're going to talk it through. Real nicely to do some work, to do some damage in this upcoming draft, man. I think Ryan Post is, made tremendous strides as our general manager. He's positioned the team to really make a difference in this upcoming draft as far as building the overall roster. You know what I'm saying? We was on some spaces on Twitter X last night, and you know what I'm saying? I haven't been shy about what I expect or what I desire to see from this coming up draft, right? So for me, I'm probably one of the few people I've basically come out and said it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one for making an all out swing at any individual players right now. I still feel like this roster has some huge needs, right? They're not as blaring as they were a season ago, but I think we have a key opportunity to set this franchise up for the future. And my take is I don't want us to miss out on that opportunity. I don't want us to swing too early and then put ourselves in a position where if we do make a deep playoff run, or we just put ourselves in a position where we make playoff runs year after year, where we go first, second round, or so on and so forth. I want to build this team. Where we make championship runs, right? And because of that, I am recommending, my take on the upcoming draft is this, that we should continue to trade down, right? We should continue to trade down and try to get the equivalent of the DJ Moore trade, the DJ Moore haul, the DJ Moore package, right? And the way we're sitting in this draft, again, this is the older graphic. Man, do I have the new one right underneath? Let me see what it is. Then you put yourself in position to double that haul and get 2 star players from another team and the haul. So you could quite possibly end up with 2 star players from another team and one or two first rounders next year as well. And then next year, I believe, is where you take your swing. This is my take. This is my personal position on it. Because again, my reasoning for that is I do not want us to make a run or just get into the playoffs because we got a Marvin Harrison Jr. and an edge rusher, right? I don't want us to barely make the playoffs. I want to build this roster out, make the playoffs next year, and then I want us to take our home run swing in the 2025 draft, and I want to make a Super Bowl run. I want to build this team to be a perennial NFC North division leader year in, year out. The other part I heard, the contrary opinions to that is, well, coach, we got to pay these guys. That's what you have the draft picks for. If you don't, if those star players that you're signing over the team, if they come out, if they want to play ball and they want to negotiate reasonable salaries that you can sign them for and extend them for long periods of time, great. But remember, you have the hall of players that you are signing behind them. So we get to a point eventually where we're having luxury picks, right? So say you get a strong defensive tackle or wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver from another team. Let's use DJ for an example. Say in a few years, I don't know what the contract situation is for DJ, but say DJ decides, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I want to try and hijack the franchise and make them pay over the asking price for a wide receiver. Well, you still have all those draft picks, the haul picks that you have gotten, and you would have been drafting behind those guys. And remember, the rookies take about a season and a half to get their feet wet anyway. So you would have had these draft picks playing behind some of these veterans, learning behind them, training, seeing how to become professional football players, how to practice the right way, how to conduct their personal business and personal lives the correct way. You would have had all these people, or you had these players learning from some of the best in the business how to be professional, being tutored by them. And guess what? If one of those quote unquote star players that you pulled in from other teams want to try and hijack the franchise with a higher than market value asking price, then you allow them to walk, and that guy should be prepared by now. So it's a situation where you put yourself in a win-win situation. It's chest over checkers. It's playing strategy. It's business strategy one-on-one. And I'm not going to get into what I do for a living and all that other stuff, but you always give yourself leverage as the franchise. You give yourself negotiating leverage to make the decisions you need to make out of luxury and out of the desperation, right? So that's my take on the whole draft scenario situation. It's well documented. Y'all let me know y'all hear about that situation in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all chime in. I'm gonna get back to the DM section and see what y'all said about my take on it. Listen, I'm willing to be wrong. I'm not married to it. I'm not going to be upset if the situation doesn't come out the way that you know what I'm saying, that I would like it to, like my take. I'm okay with that. But what I want to do is get the fans something else to think about besides, hey, we got to take MJH, or we got to take, the tight end, the star tight end, I forget his name, out of Georgia. We got to take this edge rusher, all that stuff. I'm trying to get you guys to think out of the box and think about this, right? Think about this. Ryan Poe's MO is the trade back. That is his MO. Ryan Poe's is usually calculated and conservative when it comes to the draft, right? Meaning he's been always about acquiring multiple picks. And I want you to ask this question for me. Do you believe that Ryan Poe's will at least trade back with at least one of those picks, right? At least one of those picks. And also go a step further and tell me in the chat, if he trades back, which pick is it? Is it going to be the first pick, the first overall pick, or is it going to be that pick at which currently stands at number 5? You let me know. Again, I'm trying to give you guys some alternative things to think about instead of, just repeating the same narratives that you hear on X, Twitter, Facebook, whatever your platform of choice is. By the way, shout out to Facebook. We're live on Facebook as well this morning. Shout out to my pops. My pops usually tunes into the show on Sundays and gets his comments in. You're gonna see his name up there. I gotta shout him out one day when we see him in the chat. But shout out to my pops, who is probably tuning in from a little bit north of where I am right now. So again, that's my take on the situation right now. Let's talk a little bit of Bears versus Lions today. You know what I'm saying? A lot riding on this game today. And I'm gonna let you know the reason why. Not only are we coming off a Monday night division win versus the Minnesota and the opportunity to stack wins and get a second win in a row, which we haven't had over the last, I believe, 2.5 years here in Chicago. It's an opportunity to get a win, 2 wins consecutively versus a division opponent, right? And division wins matter a little bit more than regular season wins. So if you can stack consecutive wins versus a division opponent, I believe it gives your football team confidence and momentum going into what would be these last 4 games of the season. And it starts to build a winning mentality, a winning culture, and your football team starts to believe. But not only that, so many decisions have to be made about players on the current roster, not only the players, the coaching staff, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and like I mentioned before, so many players that these last 5 games allow us to make decisions about, you know what I'm saying, a lot of these key positions. And I'll start with the head coach. The head coach, Matt Eberflus, again, has got this defense playing really well 2.5 weeks ago versus Detroit. I believe, like I said earlier, that he had, you know what I'm saying, he had Ben Johnson's number in that game, running a lot of mixed coverages, but primarily mixing in some cover 2 zone, which I believe, Jared Goff struggled to find the windows in those cover 2 zones, which forced Ben Johnson to run the ball. So he did a great job with that. Where he needed improvement in that game is the 2-minute defense. And I believe that's the KYP situation, right? It's about knowing your personnel. I believe that was Montez Sweat's first game, and having his platoons of rushers during that 2-minute drill is where I feel like we dropped the ball at. And what I mean by that is it's not that we didn't have platoons of rushers, but as a defensive coordinator, as a coach, you need to know how to best utilize your platoons of rushers in that situation. I think he just stuck with the platoon of rushers too long and relied upon them to get the pressure too long. I believe after, each group getting a series, then he has to dial up the pressure. He has to create the additional pressure by sending extra bodies after each platoon gets a rotation. He has to create the pressure because in 2-minute offense, the defensive line particularly, their legs start to get a little bit tired and there's less effective in the pass rush. So let's see how Matt Eberflus does today in the 2-minute defense just before half. And if it comes down to it at the end of the game, see if he's taking a step forward, because for all intents and purposes, he has improved the defense over his duration as a defensive coordinator and as a play caller for this defense. Now, a lot has been said about Matt Eberflus and his PR, abilities, his public speaking abilities, his ability to communicate with the with the fans and the press. I think he did a little bit better job this week at being transparent and speaking to the press about the offensive play calling particularly. I believe he was a little bit more candid and a little bit more critical of the next person I'm going to talk about, and that's Luke Getsy. I think he was a little bit more candid and critical of Luke Getsy during the play calling this week, because there were some things that we saw in that Minnesota game to everybody's eyes were a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a little bit concerning. Let's be real about it. And that was the multiple screens that were ran to negate the pressure from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, let's talk about Luke Getsy, and I think is a great segue in talking about Luke Getsy, because during Luke Getsy's pressure, I believe it was on Wednesday or Thursday, Luke Getsy stood loud and proud and really in no uncertain terms, really placed the blame of the multiple screens at the feet of Justin Fields, right? And I've done a show about this, and I did a show about this with Greg Braggs, and I was really concerned about his explanation of an RPO and what he said an RPO is. Matter of fact, he didn't indeed say it was an RPO. He said it was RPO-ish, and I quote, RPO-ish. And my question to Luke would have been, what is RPO-ish? Because guess what? Either it's RPO or it's not, right? It's RPO or it's not. So RPO-ish might have meant that, hey, and this is what I believe the definition he was trying to communicate as far as an RPO was. He was trying to communicate that the run and check to or audible to pass is his definition, or the definition of an RPO that they were given. And by technical definition of an RPO, that is not an RPO. It's a run, check, and a pass, right? I don't want to beat that dead horse. I've described on the channel many a times what a true RPO is. It's a dynamic play call after the snap of the ball that allows you to stick the ball in the belly of the running back or choose to throw it to a wide receiver that's already en route, in running his route, right? At the same time. So you have a handoff option and to throw the ball at the option. You either have an in read or a safety read and make the decision about to run the ball, right? The other question that didn't come to light during that question in the media room, where it was, if it was a RPO-ish, then why weren't there other routes in the run, check, pass combination? Meaning, if it was RPO-ish, it could have been run, check to a pass route combination other than the screen combination. You could have had a slant coming off of there. You could have had a slant pose combo. You could have had, I believe, what they call a New York concept, where there's a run. There's so many. Any in-breaking route combination that allows the wide receivers to replace blitzing linebackers and go behind them. Sit routes where they could have just ran behind the linebackers, the blitzing linebackers, and sat. There could have been a number of plays that came off of that other than the screen. So it's still about what you install, Luke. It's still, at the end of the day, it's still about what you install and to absolve yourself a responsibility. And he even said during that presser that, hey, you know what I'm saying? After whatever phase or whatever, it's all on the quarterback. He said those words, literally his words during that presser. And I just felt like he was kind of placing the blame at the quarterback a little bit. He was being a little bit candid in that speech in his presser about, you know what I'm saying, who it was. And there was some incoherent speech. And then they were talking about the blocking. And then he went on to call out the two fumbles at the end of the game were obvious, egregious fumbles during that Minnesota Vikings game. No excuse for it. But this is what I'll say about the fumbles and the turnovers, right? And we can segue into the quarterback, talk about Justin Fields here in a second. I'm not going to absolve him of turning the ball over, being egregious. The number one responsibility of the quarterback during the football game is to take care of the football, especially when you turn the ball over counts. A late or fourth quarter turnover, especially late fourth quarter turnover, is more damaging than turning the ball over in the first or second quarter or the first half, right? So when you turn the ball over matters, right? So you don't get a pass for turning the ball over, fumbling it, but or otherwise. There's no excuse for it. I don't care. And I heard the explanations about it. Hey, I thought Cole was blocking there. Guy came in, hit my elbow. I left the pocket a little bit too early, swipe down. No excuse. Hold on to the dang football. At the end of the day, you got to hang on to that ball. But what I will say about the turnovers in relations to this particular quarterback, Justin Fields, is I would take what's coachable over what's more it's more difficult to coach over, right? With understanding, and that's interceptions, right? It's easier for me to drill during individuals, what we call indies. It's easy for me to drill ball security in situational football over trying to understand why you're throwing interceptions. So while we're very critical of the fumbles, I'm still glad that we're not seeing multiple interceptions. That's usually associated with a bust. Usually when you start talking about bust, they're out here slinging the ball all over the yard. You know what I'm saying? It's really no explanation to interceptions and all this other stuff. Like, I think the last interception we saw was during the Denver game. I could be wrong. It was during the Denver game. Maybe during the first Minnesota game was the end of the game situation. There's miscommunication between Justin and Cole, right? But as long as you're not throwing interceptions, and I can get into practice and I can drill ball security for you fumbling the ball and get you out of those habits, just reiterate, right? Resubmit in your mind that, hey, when you're coming near that line of scrimmage, right? Even in the pocket, but especially when you're coming near that line of scrimmage and you get out get out of beyond the line of scrimmage, you're running back at that point. You got to take care of the ball, right? And so that's my segue into talking about Justin Fields. You guys obviously know. Well, let me take a step back. Because for this particular game, and I said it earlier this week about Luke Getsy, this is the biggest moment for Luke Getsy. And I'm setting this game up as the biggest moment for Luke Getsy, because this is your opportunity with no excuse. You got Deontay Foreman back, you should have back, right? You have wide receivers that's down. Equanimeous St. Brown, Tyler Scott are down. So by default, you should have to come out and play more 12, 13, 21, 22 personnel, which I believe is the style of play that this football team needs to play anyway. It's a winning formula for this football team. It's the style of play that's successful this football team. It closely emulates the style of play that we played in the Washington Commanders game. We went heavy 12 personnel. Even out of gun, we had 2 tight ends in the game to assist with pass protection, to dominate the line of scrimmage, to allow more time down the field for deep passes. And remember, I'm always talking about protections, 5-man, 6-man, 7-man protection. Well, how do you get the 6-man, 7-man protection? You can get there a number of ways. You can get there via a tight end staying in and a running back. You can get there via 2 tight ends staying in to block. You can get there through a number of combos. And the way we like to throw the ball down the field, at least the way that Justin, his deep ball accuracy and the way he can rip the ball down the field, you want to create as many opportunities as possible through your protection schemes to allow your wide receiver depth to get down the field to make those deep passes happen. And we did this in the Washington Commanders game. So I want to see us replicate that, Luke Getsy, in this game at home versus Detroit Lions with, again, inclement or what's supposed to be inclement or cold weather, right? At least cold weather. You know what I'm saying? You try to take a little bit of the air out the ball, right? And you know what I'm saying? Play a little, you know what I'm saying, backyard bully ball, right? Big boy football, 12, 13, 22, 21 personnel. Run the ball with Deontay Foreman, right? Even go under center a little more and go under center and take play action shots down the field off of those runs. Set plays up. Here's an opportunity for Luke Getsy to show us that giving no other circumstances, right, through your personnel availability and all this, that you can logically come up with a good game plan and put the defense in a bind. Now, this particular defense led by Aaron Glenn for Detroit is susceptible to deep pass. They miss a lot of their zone coverages. They're not disciplined in their zone coverages. They play better man coverage than they do zone. But zone coverages, whether it's cover 3 zone, cover 2 man, 6, cover 4, cover 8, you know what I'm saying? Some of the corners get lost in their zones a little bit. They get their eyes on the quarterback, and especially when you got a running quarterback, a lot of them tend to cheat up and have their eyes on the quarterback a little bit too much, and allows them to vacate their zone. So there'll be opportunities during this game for us still to hit deep passes during this game. Now, the question is, does Aaron Glenn watch the Brian Flores tape and see how much trouble Brian Flores blitz packages gave us and says, look, screw it. I'm throwing out what I do with the zone coverage all day. I'm bringing out all out heat all day, and we're going to play man up, and we're going to see if y'all pass the test from week to week, which is the NFL test. Do you go back in your practice sessions and make yourself better? Do you make yourself better as an individual player, as a quarterback, O-line, running back, wide receivers, tight end, and especially do you make yourself better as a coordinator? Do you make yourself better? Because I remember Luke Getsy saying during his press conference this week that his answers to pressure were the screen, tight end delays, and I got to remember the last thing that he said in that context of that conversation. But what he said didn't impress me that much was his answers to pressure, screen, tight end delays, and I believe it was something else that he said. I can't remember what it was, but let's just go with the first two: screens and tight ends Those are tactical maneuvers to me that don't have any they don't have any countermeasures to them, right? So I'll give you an example. He mentioned tight end delays, which we were successful with, I believe, on a 3rd or 4th and long, where we got a delay play. But say if you're relying on a tight end delay, what if Cole Kmet, whoever the tight end that's running the delay, gets knocked down? What if they get knocked down and you're counting on a tight end delay? You got runoff routes through your wide receivers, tight end delay, tight end get knocked down. Quarterback has to hold the ball and make something happen. What if your screen gets jumped by the cornerback or the wide receivers miss the block on the screen and it gets jumped? Your quarterback throws the ball out there, potentially rolls behind the line of scrimmage, gets either fallen on for a turnover or it gets scooped and scored for scoop and score, scoop 6, right? Too many bad things can happen through just having a screen and tight end delay in that situation. To me, I feel like you get under the center and you try to get to the ball. You try to stay out of down and distance that's conducive for blitz packages. And what I mean by that is you try to get us to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, right? And you force that defensive coordinator to decide, do I really want to send pressure or not? Because guess what? I still have the run and the pass available to me. And again, the unique thing about football is this. You know what I'm saying? You can only pack the line of scrimmage. You can only pack the numbers to the line of scrimmage to one side, right? You play with 11 on one side, 11 on each side of the ball. So, you know what I'm saying? You can't divide 11 evenly. I can't say that enough. That's one of the great things about the strategy game in football. You can't divide the line of scrimmage evenly. So if you made all of the defensive players come to the line of scrimmage, there's always going to be 6 on one side, 5 on the other. You come out in an even formation and you run against the numbers, right? You know what I'm saying? The simplicity of football is making sure you always have a numbers advantage. And that's what makes Kyle Shanahan great. He never put himself in a position, especially in his run game, where his players, his team doesn't have the numbers advantage blocking wise. He's always going to make sure, hey, if the strength of the formation is over here and you're sending extra bodies to that side, then I'll run a counter play and I'll pull guards, tackles, tight ends, or what have you back to the other side of the line of scrimmage to make sure I have a numbers advantage. And it doesn't matter if that's versus straight up base defense, reduced personnel, or a blitz package. You do what you do. You force other teams to adjust. And I just don't think we do enough of that in Chicago with the offensive coordinator there. So this is a big game for Luke Getsy. It's a no excuse game, almost a layup game coming out of the first Detroit game where you had him. You had him on the ropes. If many of us have said, if you finish the game, you go aggressive that last drive instead of going inside zone, deep shot. Don't get yourself in a 3rd and long situation. Run the ball on 1st down early to get the chains moving. At worst minimum, get yourself in a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. You know what I'm saying? 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 situation where you have more options available to you off of your call sheet. So big game for him. The big question again is, does Luke adjust? Does he adjust from the first game to the second game between him and Aaron Glenn? Who makes the adjustment and how it comes out? Now, let's get to the quarterback, because I know I had a lot to say about, you know what I'm saying, about the coordinator. The quarterback, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, Justin Fields has to play with his hair on fire. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Luke Getsy is who he is, right? We are pretty much indicted him for who he is. Justin has just to play with his hair on fire, overcome the coordinator. You just have to do it. Whatever the call is, and I've been calling this for some time, and this is where I'm not giving Justin Fields as a pass on it. I know he's a 24-year-old young man, son of a Marine, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, used to strict discipline and style following orders and all that good stuff from a personality standpoint. But at some point, you have to grow up. You have to self-actualize as a person. You got to get a little Jay Cuddy in you. Jay Cuddy, Mike Marks. You hear some BS coming from the sideline. You got to be like, look, man, look, fellas, this is what we going to run. You know what I'm saying? This is what we gonna run. We not running that. We gonna run this, and then you deal with it when you go back to the sideline. That to me, that is personal growth. That is taking control of your football. That is taking command and saying, look, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's a little bit better now because people are pointing the fingers at Luke Getsy a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it's always going to go back to the fan blame cycle at the end of the day, and it's going to start with the quarterback. It's going to be quarterback, head coach, GM, OC, or DC. That's usually the typical fan blame cycle because usually fans don't know what an offensive defensive coordinator does besides call the plays. Usually when I'm talking to fans, they talk about play calling. They don't talk about install. They don't talk about game planning. They talk about calling plays on game day. They don't talk about that. They don't know how you go through the week and you select plays. You watch film from other opponents, common opponents. You select plays that look like the plays in your playbook. If you got plays in your playbook that the other team was successful with, you add it to your game plan. You have a list of plays that's probably a mile long. And throughout the week, you rep them in practice versus your scout team, and you narrow down your playlist by the upcoming game based off of what the scout team showed you. And if you're comfortable with keeping that in the playbook lock, that's called game planning. Installing is installing your game, your playbook throughout the season, Luke, throughout the season. That's your initial install during training camp, summer camp, whatever you call it, installing the core set of plays, the core concepts, and beginning to add things incrementally throughout the season to make sure all 11 stay on the same page. They stay in concerts. Wide receivers are getting the hitting their right landmarks. You know what I'm saying? O-line is making the right call, slide protections. Running backs are coming and stepping to the right spot as far as blitz pickups. The whole nine. You have to move all 11 together at the same time, right? So the way you do that, the way I do that is I install incrementally throughout the season. I don't know how Luke does it. You know what I'm saying? But I know how I was mentored to do it. And that's my approach to it. Either way, Justin has to overcome. He has to overcome the call. If it's a terrible call, I don't care. We call 50 screens a day. We call 50 screens consecutively today. Find a way. You have to have a mentality. Like nobody cares. We're seeing that. We're seeing that 60% of our fan base, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care that Luke could call 50 screens in a row, never run the ball under center, no 12, no 13, no 21, 22 personnel, right? Nobody cares. You got to assume nobody cares. Go out there, become a dog, and just overcome it. And try not to fumble in the process. That's all I'm saying. Nobody, let's take the mentality. It's me against the world. F everybody. I'm riding. You know what I'm saying? Boys, y'all ride me? Yes, we ride with you. I don't care if you got to get in the huddle with DJ and be like, DJ, it's 3rd and 4. F that play. Just run a slant. Just run a slant. I'm going to throw it to you. Hey, especially, or you go in the huddle, be like, hey, if they come out, they in too high. They in too high. We'll motion. If they in too high, man, we running the slant. If it's too zone, we're running hitch. Like there's simple answers that you can just come up with, you know what I'm saying, that make things less complicated. Too high, man, run the slant. If it's too high zone, run a hitch, run a comeback, run a dig, or something that runs you away from the zone that, you know what I'm saying, less likely ends up in an interception. It's just football. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be in those situations. You got to be in those situations. You got to know balls. You got to know coverages to be able to do that. So, you know what I'm saying? I understand we got a trash coordinator. I understand all of the talking points related. Trust me, nobody probably knows the talking points related to Luke Getsy more than I do. All that being said, you have to, it's like, what's the equivalent? I started to say something else. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like certain situations in life. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you got to get to the point where it's like nobody cares, man. Nobody's going to care about the system that got you to where you got to. You know what I'm saying? They only care about outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares that you ended up in. I hate to use this example, but it's first thing come to mind. Nobody cares that you end up in jail, right? They care about you just going out there and making the best out of life. Nobody cares about, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like the reality of life. One of those harsh realities that your parents and people talk to you about. Be like, hey, guess what? You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares about this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Get out there and get it. You know what I'm saying? Be a dog. Be a savage. You know what I'm saying? So what? You're not a trust fund baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know. So no more. So what? Nobody can pay for you to go to college. So what? This, that, and the other. Get out there, figure it out, play the game, get in the game, and make the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to GF1. Hopefully he has a great game. Overcome. I know he's going to, for a fact, he's going to have to overcome the play calling, secure the ball, make throws. Hopefully he has a little bit more in the game plan that helps him out. You know what I'm saying? That's it, nuts and bolts. We're going to talk about the defense here a little bit, but I want to get to the DM section real fast, man, because guess what? I got to get out, shout out to the DMs. I saw my pops out there commenting and participating in the show. Definitely going to highlight him today as we get in the DM section. So y'all stand by. We're going to queue up the DMs and we're going to slide real fast. Let's go.
Did you get like some crazy DMs or what?
Very.
Surprises or no?
It's talking like blue check marks?
Yeah, like
people who be sliding and I'm like, wow, y'all fuck with me like that.
Yeah, y'all rock with us like that on Chicago Bears 360. Listen, do me a favor if you're watching this on the playback, man. Like, subscribe to the channel, man. Shout out to y'all, by the way, bro. I think, man, the numbers is going crazy on subscribers. I can't even keep up, bro. Real talk. I'm just trying. I think less than 60 days, we were like 160, 170 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? I know that's probably not as many as other channels, bro. Frankly, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my own lane. HOV, you know what I'm saying? I had to throw a little Jay-Z bar in there, you know what I'm saying? I'm in my own lane, man. I'm doing my own thing, got my own niche, man. But shout out to a lot of those channels, man. I support the majority of it. Everybody has their own niche, man. So for the most part, there's no hate or rivalry or nothing like that. I'm gonna have some great guests coming on the show, by the way. Y'all want to tune in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, man. Some people I'm trying to line up for y'all is Three Kings from Three Kings Podcast. Herb Howard from the Bigs. Man, it's so many guests coming up, bro. My man Jay, forgive me, Jay. I forget the name of Jay's actual show. So if you're watching this on the playback or you're tuning in to do the show or you're here right now, man, make sure you run those likes up, man. Let's try to get the chat. Let's try to get the likes up. We're about 46 minutes in. Probably try and do about 30, 45 minutes more, man. So we can lead up into the game and talking some good football and get you guys feedback. But let me slide back to the comment section, man, and start getting these shout outs because we got some long time supporters of the show. And I like to show y'all love, man. And also I like to answer y'all questions y'all got into or highlight y'all comments, man. So shout out to Black Diamond, Foster Covers, joining the show for one of the very first time met Foster on a Friday night show. My boy Villa, 3 Point Stands podcast. Congratulations, first of all, and shout out to him for starting his YouTube on-air journey. He's been putting out videos for some time, but you know what I'm saying? It takes courage, man, to put your face on camera and, you know what I'm saying, go through all the process of learning the platform and, you know what I'm saying, how to do your camera, how you do your lighting, how to do your background setting, getting the right mics. By the way, I'm going to get a new mic pretty soon so we can get some next level audio up in here. You know what I'm saying? I try to go through the headset situation so, you know what I'm saying, I could reinforce the coach's part of this situation, but I listen to other shows. I just like their audio a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So I got to get that mic so I can in-situation my voice. I got to get that Barry White for y'all going. Y'all know I got to get it popping, man. But shout out to that, man. Shout out to my guy, Chicago Sports Talk, Michael. I'm going to highlight you here for a second. He says, I'm hoping Justin Fields balls out and wins. I'm tired of tasting Beijing Army, and I know you banned one of them from your channel. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing about me. I got Detroit fans that be in the chat. Shout out to Don Bird. I got, you know what I'm saying? I got anti-Justin Fields people that be in the chat and the show all the time. I don't mind that, bro. But you come in the chat, you come in the show, man. Just be respectful, man. Don't troll the comment section. Sorry about that. Don't troll the comment section. If y'all debating football, debate football in the chat. I actually love that. I love the engagement, you guys in the chat, but just don't be disrespectful. Don't be, if you go into any chat room part of any show, don't be disrespectful to the host. A lot of us don't have enough subscribers to the point where we're getting paid for this anywhere. We're volunteering our time to come up with a show, buying cameras, stands, lighting, computers, software, subscriptions, doing backgrounds and all this other stuff to provide entertainment for you guys. And to come in the show and you become disrespectful or something like that, I'm boot your ass out of here with the quickness. I'm not even playing with it. So yeah, I did let one go, man. Lost one. You ever heard the song "Lost One" by Jay-Z? Yeah, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not a desperation thing for me. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? My money good in real life. I don't do this for money. It's a hobby. It's a passion project. So it is what it is. WGO. Good morning, my guy. Bear down. Hopefully we have a good one today. I shouted out Black Diamond. Black Diamond says, man, you cannot pass on MJH unless you are trading with Las Vegas and they offer you two first, 2 seconds, and Max Crosby. I'm not mad at that take, Black Diamond. Here it is. As long as, listen, I don't remember the DJ Moore Hall verbatim, but that's the floor. That's the floor of what you're asking for that pick. Because here's the other part of that take for me. Does Marvin Harrison Jr. make you a deep playoff run team? Does he make you a deep playoff run team? I'm not talking about getting stats on offense or postering up the offense and getting stats and, you know what I'm saying, and letting the stat boys go crazy or the fantasy football player guys go crazy that are part of Bears Twitter. I'm talking about whatever move you make this year. If we end up, say, for example, we end up 7-10, that's like one of the best case scenarios for as far as records are concerned. Whatever move you make this year has to land you in the playoff first, second round of the playoff race where you get to the first, second round of the playoffs. And if you're saying, hey, MJH and an edge rusher would get us in the playoffs and make us competitive in the playoffs, then I'm okay with the take. But like I said, and I've asked every person, even the chat, right, to tell me, do you believe Marvin Harrison Jr., his value is worth more than what we got for DJ? A star player, that year's first rounder, I believe it was second rounder, a first rounder from the next year, and all that, third rounder, blah, 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 et cetera, right? Do you think the value is equivalent, right? Now, me being a business management professional in real life, and where I have to go and determine if we're getting values for deals, right? What defines value in a deal for major corporations, that doesn't equate for me. To me, that doesn't equate. Because guess what? If he tears an Achilles, he has a knee injury or anything of the such, you bought it, you break it, you buy it. You know what I'm saying? You break it, you buy it. Or it becomes a mental basket case or any other scenarios. You break it, you bought it. And it is what it is. I'm saying it's risk management, business 101, risk management. So that's what I'm saying. My guy Foster, got to highlight you on the show, my guy. Yep. Once in a lifetime position with the draft picks. Pose has brought us trade back, possibly get defensive guy this year, run it back 2 first next year. Maybe Pose can trade with the team. Listen, man, this is, again, I want y'all, as I get older, I always think about the long play. And Bears fans have to ask themselves, do they want us to be a playoff contention, flash in the pan team, or do they want us to be I hate to say it, but that team up north years ago when they were competitive year after year after year after year, right? And they were like a rash on our ass, right? They seem like they always got players. They always in the talks. They're always competitive. That's the way you build that team. And I'm not so much focused again on the picks as I am on getting the proven players, because the proven players become your dogs, your blue chip players, and they create a training pipeline for your signing draftees. So imagine you get a Max Crosby. We'll use a Foster Covers example. Imagine you get, Black Diamonds example. Imagine you get a Max Crosby and you draft the edge rusher that's probably a little bit raw. You draft a guy in the second round, right? And he has to learn from a Max Crosby. He has to push. That's your competition in practice. You have to push. You have to beat this guy out, right? But you're also learning from him at the same time. You're learning how to practice. You're learning how to be a pro. You're learning additional and second and third pass rush moves. You're learning how to get off ball a little bit better. You're picking up on those key techniques, right? Then it's like that you create a development pipeline for excellence, and these guys have something to look for to say, okay, that's what they're looking for. And then year after year, you're competitive. That's my whole point there. I just don't want us to be a flash in the pan team that makes one run and then we're back where we've been since 85. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of us are over that team. We're tired of hearing about it. I am. That was the team that made me fall in love with this group. So it is what it is. Michael Everhart, my God. He said I would trade back with the first pick and we'll get more in return. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I say at a minimum, this is a tough one. I've had to choose between the two picks. Good business decision, not a feelings-based decision. A good business decision is probably you're gonna get the most for that one. And remember what Bryson, what's his name? Bryce Young. What Bryce Young commanded last year. You know what I'm saying? These quarterbacks, whether it's Caleb Williams, they're considering these guys to be more valuable business-wise than Bryce Young. So if again, DJ Moore trade, Bryce Young trade is the floor, how much more can you command Washington, especially if Washington fires Ron Rivera and moves on and becomes the next coach? You're probably going to get a new GM. A lot of people think about the Bears situation resetting the franchise. Washington, you know what I'm saying, just lost 2 top edge rushers. You're practically in a rebuild anyway. So you fire the coach, you're probably gonna get a new GM head coach. They're gonna probably want to start out with their guy. They want to move up and grab a Caleb Williams. Okay, send your boy, the interior defensive lineman Allen, to us, and all those picks. A first round of next year. We're gonna keep our first round of this year, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You bring Allen over here, pair him with his boy Sweat. He's used to playing with. You put Allen on this defense and you draft the edge rusher, bro. Come on, tell me we not in the race. Tell me we're not a competitor. Tell me we're not a continuer at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's chess over checkers. We become better tiers. See, Aaron Stark says I love to see JF1 rebel against Getsy and start on his BS today. Getsy, hey, I'm there with you, buddy. Getsy always stops doing what it works. I want JF1 to go out there and do what he feels. I agree with you. It's time for him to. Again, man, it's time for him to be on this ish, bro. These last 5, you know what I'm saying? We're not advocates for rebellion normally. Aaron is a military guy like me, man. We're not normally advocates for mutinies, but you know what I'm saying? We co-signing on this one. Got my Bears cup. We're co-signing on this one, man. We co-signing on the mutiny right here, man. I'm telling you. We're co-signing on the team when the guys going renegade in the huddle. Hey, JF1 said, hey, guys, we running the slant right here. It is what it is, and going with it. All right. Skull said, I got the Bears trading down from 1 to 2 and 5 to 7 or 11. Here's the thing. That's a great point by the Skull, too, man. The trade down does not have to be a miss on MJH. I'm throwing it out there because everybody's laser focused on Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody's laser focused on it. We gotta do that, bro. We ain't gotta do nothing. There are other options out there, but Skull makes a great point. We can trade back and not miss out on the kid. For everybody that has a hard on for the kid, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to trade back and miss out on him. We can trade back from 1 to 2, but keep in mind, moving back 1 position may not command the same haul as, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other. So it's a matter of, also you have to take in consideration that there are multiple quarterbacks in the draft. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to go back to business 101, supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? New England might believe in Drake May more than they do Caleb Williams. That is not a far-fetched idea. You know what I'm saying? There is not a far-fetched ideas. I don't remember a whole lot of melanated quarterbacks playing in New England, whatever state they in, Massachusetts, right? I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. Y'all can laugh about it, joke about it. Y'all say, I'm just a realist, right? So they might not value Caleb Williams' playing style the way that Washington does or another team. They might want a guy, and I'm saying this without having done a review. I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna break down the quarterbacks on film and give y'all my true observation of what I think about these quarterbacks. That's why I'm not so less hesitant to talk about Caleb Williams, Drake May, and all these guys so far right now, because I haven't done an in-depth film study on them to come up with my own opinion. I usually do that stuff after the season, but when I do a show and I actually break them down, let y'all know what I see, I'll let you know. But there's nothing to say that New England won't value if he is a traditional quarterback, pocket quarterback, more so than they do Caleb Williams. You know what I'm saying? They're looking, you got to keep in mind, especially if Bill stays, Bill, you got to be disciplined, bro. You got to play on schedule. You got to get the ball out. You think about personalities too. You can't be the type of person. Like, one of the reasons why Tom Brady left New England is, you know what I'm saying? Tom got tired of not being able to have fun and have a personality and be himself, so to speak. And I think, you know what I'm saying, Caleb likes the limelight. He's an LA kid right now. You know what I'm saying? He's probably one of the biggest names in sports in Southern California right now. You're gonna go to New England, and have to listen to this guy who's, you know what I'm saying, Darth Vader in a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Let's be realistic about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see what you're saying, but there's a lot of situations, like nuances, that you have to think about. Eberflus is at least learning. Gessie never seems to learn. This is my guy, Aaron Stars. Learning. The offense is playing around Gessie. Listen, man, I tell you what today, Luke Gessie, you can't. Somebody had this take on Ville's show the other day. I believe it was in the chats. It was a great bar, by the way. It comes from Jay-Z line. Don't play with your food, bro. You got to finish your breakfast. Luke, you got to finish your breakfast today. You know what I'm saying? They serve it up on the plate. The defense giving you 4 turnovers. Finish your food, Lee. Finish your food. Finish your breakfast. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what song that from Jay-Z, but I'm a big Jay-Z fan, by the way. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Yeah, man. What else we got? My guy Bears Media Co in the chat. Let's see. I don't want to miss everybody. My guy Brian Henry in the chat. Yata, bro. Eric. I don't want to butcher your looks like last name, man. Yeah, man. Like, I'm like, man, I was hesitant to say he blamed Justin, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know all my detractors out there. Oh man, you're a Justin lover, Justin apologist. Bro, listen, at the end of the day, I told y'all, in real life, man, I'm good. I don't have to be overly invested in Justin, Caleb, Drake May, anybody. I'm good, man. Like, this is entertainment for me just as much as it is for you. The new coordinator come in, he gonna get. I think I'm gonna have Nagy and Luke Getsy PTSD, to be honest with you, because I gave Nagy the benefit of the doubt I gave Luke Getsy the benefit of the doubt coming out of Nagy. I'm like, all right, man, we getting a Green Bay guy, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I gave him the benefit of the doubt coming off Nagy. The next guy is not getting that from day one. From a schematic standpoint, I'm gonna be on his ass from day one. Now he's gonna get the same kind of like grace and stuff. That's why I'm like, man, I wasn't, like, I try to extend the guy some grace, man. But I'm gonna tell y'all, and I told this story on Friday night, man. What really did it for me with Luke Getsy, man, was when I was at the Detroit game, and I felt like he was on his way to having called a complete game, and I moved from my seats I was in good 100 section seats. First of all, let's don't get that effed up. I moved from my seat where it was to get right behind the bench. So I walked over about you know what I'm saying, 4 or 5 sections to get behind the bench. And I was going to shout Luke out and give him credit, man. And, yo, Luke, great game or something like that. I was ready to praise the man until that last drive. And I'm like, bro, that's where I get. This dude wets the bed, pisses down his leg. And, you know what I'm saying, at that last moment. And we just get out of there, man. My guy, Shy Bulls Podcast. Shout out. Hey, y'all go check Shy Bulls Podcast out there. You know what I'm saying? I always support other channels, them doing what they're doing, because I know it's not easy to get out here and do what we do. So, you know what I'm saying? If you like the Bulls, you know what I'm saying, get out there and get it. I'm not a big basketball person myself. I like to entertain from the games, but half the time I don't know what the hell is going on out there. It's out dope, pick and rolls. Anyway, y'all go check Shy Bulls Podcast out. All right, man. Man, I gotta give my pops some love with my nephew right there, man. Y'all see the resemblance? 2 handsome dudes right there, man. That's my pops right there. Justin's coming to his own, but drafting a new wide receiver and tight end will not help. Are there any free agents out there we could trade for in our drafts or picks for? Dad, listen, the scenario I laid out is probably the best scenarios out there, because you got to remember, with free agency, you're going to have to pay. The free agents are always overpriced. It's not a great way to build your team. You know what I'm saying? It's not a great way to build your team. Veteran contracts, free agent contracts, always going to cost you more. You're going to end up in a bad salary cap situation. You really want to straight up swap during the draft or pay trade. You can decide whether to extend the guy or not. Try to get a reasonable deal done, or you let the guy play out his existing contract and draft behind him to give the guy behind him some time to build up to be able to replace him. Yeah, so basically you train him as you sign him through a draft trade as a trainee for the guy you drafted behind him, allow him build up behind him, and you keep those rookie contracts steadily flowing through the draft on your team, right? It becomes a numbers game at some point, but signing straight up free agents, that should be your last resort, a desperation move, and that should be the resort. That's what you resort to when you're swinging for the fences and you're saying, we're one player away from going to the Super Bowl, in our opinion, right? And then you go get that guy. But shout out to my pops, man. Love you, man. I'll chat with you later as we head to this game, or we'll talk after the game. Oh, by the way, man, y'all catch me on Bar New Room Network at the halftime show today and the post-game show with my guy, Buffon and Danny Simon over at the Bar New Room Network. I'm usually a little bit more conservative on that show, man, because it's not my platform. But I don't know. I might come with the smoke today, bro. I don't know. It depends how I'm feeling. Depends how much coffee I done had. But either way, man, I'm going to be on the halftime show at Barroom Network, and then the post-game show, my guy Aldo over at Barroom Network. We're just over an hour, man. Do me a favor if you're coming in, run those likes up. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching it for the first time, subscribe to the channel, man. I'm trying to clip this up real nicely for y'all tomorrow. Y'all can pay attention or run back. You know what I'm saying? Anything I said today, right? 9, no, high AC. Let me see if I got any new people in here. I haven't commented, shouted out. Hey, Donald McKendry. I don't want to mess up your name. MJ might not be the best wide receiver in this draft, but Fields must stay. Hey, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. Listen, I'm not mad at it. I'm not like picket sign with Justin. You know what I'm saying? I'm not either way. I have balanced expectations, right? Understanding that if we reset this football team with a new quarterback, then the path to the Super Bowl is different, right? Remember, you can get to the Super Bowl with a great defense and a decent to good quarterback, right? I think what never, and I'm a guy, shout out to my guy King Matt. We was talking about this in the spaces one time, right? I think one of the things that's lost on fans is Justin Fields has to be Patrick Mahomes or bust. Justin Fields has to be Patrick Mahomes or bust because of Caleb Williams. And the assumption is Caleb Williams is a generational talent, or Caleb Williams is going to be Patrick Mahomes. And when people that are so hard for Caleb Williams to the point that it's just like no having any logical conversation with them is off the table, the assumption is they're giving a guy credit for doing something or becoming something that he hasn't even proven on a collegiate level that he can do. And that might be a hot take. Y'all might disagree with that. All the Caleb Williams folks out there, but it is what it is. He's shown he can make dynamic plays. He can scramble out, throw the ball. He has a quick release and all that other stuff. But Lincoln Riley quarterbacks are 50-50 in the NFL so far. Kyler Murray hasn't proven that he's going to take teams to the Super Bowl, right? Who else is guys? Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, one of his guys. Okay, so the assumption is he's going to be the greatest quarterback that ever, generational talent. We threw that out early on in the season, and so when you compare, that to Justin Fields, I think a lot of people are enamored with that versus what we have because they're saying it's a direct comparison. But again, you haven't faced NFL linebackers, defensive linemen, cornerbacks, safeties. The windows are smaller. The windows close faster. The leap from college to the pros is way more than the leap from high school to college. Those windows close fast, right? Can he, even outside of playing within a particular scheme or something, right? Can you get away from NFL defensive linemen and linebackers the way you ran away from college linebackers and defensive linemen to escape to be able to make those throws? That's not a proven thing. What it is proven is Justin is proven he can be the most electric runner, right? Scrambler runner in the NFL and outrun players that's been in the league for a number of years and make them look like, rookies, or they look less than. That's proven. But at the same time, bro, if they do it, they do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, y'all better have realistic expectations for this kid and stop being the same old Bears fans that you've been for years. If you get him, he comes, he doesn't do it in 3 years, y'all label the kid as a bust, y'all dump him, and y'all say, oh, we need a new quarterback again. All the while we're not reaching the playoffs or the Super Bowl year after year after year, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, there has to be some logic inserted in here at some point, a lot less emotional argument about the situation. Now, in my perspective, I don't have a Justin has to be Patrick Mahomes, certainly not Aaron Rodgers. In my head, he could be somewhere in between. He can be good to great and anywhere in between, depending on what we put around him and all these other stuff. And I would be okay with that. Build a good football team. Good to great quarterback, good to great defense, good to great offensive lineman, good to great position players at each position. Have a great coaching and system, and let's roll the dice and see what happens, right? It's not the league. We're not going to get, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to get like studs, like my guy Sean McVay says. You know what I'm saying? You only have about 6 to 8 dogs on every team that's talents who can traverse any system. You know what I'm saying? That's the Sean McVay-ism, a quote from him. So it is what it is, man. I tried to make it through here. I'm trying to point out some new names. J2K, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, my guy? I see you. My guy Steve-O Speaks, Bear Central, Pod. Trying to point out some new names I haven't seen in a while. SunTrust 9, my guy. All right, I see you, Coach. Trophy, Yellow, Smiling. I don't know. I think that was a riddle. Steve will say, if I don't see hella power today, I'm going off. Man, I don't even know. AC Adams says 99 Problems. I know what you're going with that with Jay-Z. 99 Problems is one of your favorite songs too, man. I like 99 Problems. What up? Squeeze T. So if we had a 12-point lead in just over 3.5 minutes to go and our defense up 17 points, how does Gezzy have anything to do with that? Oh, okay. You want to throw one out. So if we have a 12-point lead up, yeah, you still have to successfully run a 4-minute offense. You got to play defense on offense. It's still ball control. It's still running the ball, controlling the clock, manipulating. there is a defensive component to offensive football. It's called complementary football. Complementary football. You're playing defense by time of possession and holding on to the ball and matriculating down the field. Even when you're scoring, you're part of the defense by holding on to the ball. I can't break that down any better. Right. So if you up 12, your 4-minute offense has to be on point. You go 3 and out multiple times, you give the opponent opportunities to come up with a strategy, get themselves together, and come back on you. You're playing in concert with the other team. Listen, I can't give miss my guy T-Dub in the house, man. I see you. I want to take a look at some film, man, if y'all don't mind. And I don't want to look at Bears offense. So give me a hot second. I want to make sure I got the cue. Let's see the man. NFL.com reset and recycling on me. What is going on? All right, give me a hot second. Bears, Lions. I want to see a little bit of our defense out there. So I want to queue up some drives because we usually don't take a look at our defense on the show a whole lot. And so I want to talk through a lot of these plays with the gang here and see what y'all got to say. And just talk to it because guess what? This is going to be a key factor in today and adjusting how we attack Detroit. First time, let me pull Tareen's comment down. Okay, my guy. Tareen, love you, man, but your comment got to go. All right, here we go. Man, I brought it back up. All right, cool. Let's share screen. Let's get to it. Boom. This thing is moving slow. Internet is moving slow. Y'all bear with me. All right, let's take a look at our defense, man. We already on second 2. Let's go back a little bit. Let's hang out today, man. Give y'all some stuff to look for. Hey, I'm watching this live with y'all, so you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So we're going to talk about coverages a little bit. Too high safety. This is why I thought, again, I'm live watching it at the game. I thought we in 2 zone. I'm experiencing some lag right here. I don't know if it want to cooperate with me or not. Hang on one second. If it doesn't, it won't. We just saying we're not gonna force it. Saying I got good internet connection. Maybe it's on NFL.com's end. All right, let me get out of here. I'm gonna reboot it. I'm gonna reboot the NFL.com side of it. Man, y'all know how this thing goes, bro. The thing decides to wet the bed on you. All right, let's do. I want to really. All right, that's one down. I'm not taking up bandwidth. All right. Yeah, we got a little bit of lag going on up in here, man. I'm trying to bring y'all some film footage. We got a little blur going on, all that good stuff, man. So I might try one more time. If it doesn't work, man, we'll end the show and get y'all up out of here. But I really intended to give y'all some X's and O's today. Some film. Hang on one second. Gotta represent. Got the trucker hat. Gotta represent the team. Get the Bears up here. Let's see if we're moving a little bit better on NFL.com end of it. Cycling. All right, bro. That's not where it's at. So I'm not gonna force it today. But I want y'all to pay attention to this defense, man, today, because again, to me, this is where it at. This is where it at. Can we replicate the turnovers we had in the first games? Can Can we put Jared Goff in a bind as terms of this defense? Can we get out after him up front? Montez Sweat and the gang up front. Can we get after him? Put this defense guy in a bind. Also, I believe that cover 2 zone for him was a real big problem. That's what I was trying to show y'all, because the too high safety, inverted, or the corners playing with leverage, all eyes on the quarterback. I really think gave him some fits in the first game and caused some problems for him. And just made life overall difficult for him, man. So hang on 1 second. I might have liftoff again. I get so disappointed, man, when I can't do film for y'all like this, man. It really drives me nuts. I like the film work. I like to be able to support my takes with actual film footage. All right, let's go to the Detroit drive. Let's see how this pans out now. Because I want to talk through some tapes a little bit. This is the fun part for me, man. And I'm learning as I'm going through the tape. All right, cool. Let's get it. Let's hit it. Good thing I ain't give up. Never ever give up. Stick with it. Hang in there. All right, let's get busy. All right, let's get busy. Let's get some smoke. Let's get it going. Y'all see too high safety right here. Let's watch what these corners do, so we can figure out what coverage we're in. Shout out to Stevenson. Should be back today, by the way. Too high safety. Check the cornerback depth and leverage, right? Are they playing straight up? Or are they opening up to the inside to allow him to run inside? Basically, they're playing outside leverage to take away the flat from him. You want him to run inside. To me, it's cover 2 zone, right? That's what I said, what I thought was giving Jared Goff fits. A key part to today's game for me is, you know what I'm saying, us being able to take away the run for them as well, because I think that was a life raft that Ben Johnson used in this game against. If he couldn't have been able to run the ball, Jared would have been in trouble. Because I believe on one drive, we'll see it. He ran the ball like 4 times in a row because he's a little bit nervous that Jared was going to throw another interception. Yeah. Cover 2 zone right there. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Johnson getting busy. And one thing I watch with film too, while I'm watching the game, one of the things I watch to see is if guys are just throwing the ball, if our opponent's throwing the ball down the field and guys are just catching and running, like, is there a bunch of yak, you know what I'm saying, during the game? If it's not, that lets you know that the defensive coordinator has guys in position. He's close, right? But if you got a guys just running wide open and getting a bunch of yak and they're not making immediate tackles, then that lets me know defensive coordinator is off. Here, there's a disconnect in his scheme and trying to stop the opponent, right? So even if they complete passes, our guys making immediate tackles and getting guys on the ground. Too high zone, right? Corners leveraged in, either 2-man or 2 zone. They run the ball right there. He got him in 2nd and 2, right? So his first play. And I want you to notice something. The difference between how Detroit's attacking us versus how we attack them. They're coming out heavy 11, 12, 13 personnel, right? Here it is right here. Tackle, guard, center, tight end, right? 2 tight ends, 22 personnel. They got 2 tight ends and a fullback in the game, right? That's sending a message. If they do this versus us today right now, it's going to be a long day. How do you stop the run in this? You got to go base. See why we got our base defense out there. We got all 3 of our big linebackers out here because it's bully ball. This is how I want us to play. I'm envious of this. I want us to play like this. 2 high safety, right? 2-man out of base defense, and they go and play action. And he has to dirt that. Good. So we're winning with our base personnel. That's a great thing. But I like the style of play. All right, here we go. 2nd and 10. If I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm just trying to get 4 or 5 to put us in a better 3rd down situation. Again, heavy 2 high safety, guys with inside leverage. This is going to be the cloud coverage because they're so far. Remember how we read defenses, right? Count the number of safeties, cornerback depth, and leverage. These guys are back off the line of scrimmage with inside leverage. I'm thinking they're playing a cloud coverage, an even number coverage, cover 4 I'm calling right here, and we're going to let them play. You just need 4 or 5 yards. Get them on the ground, guys. I ain't mad at the call because you get the 3rd and 5, right? And that's more manageable than, you know what I'm saying, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. And this is what I was talking about in the Vikings game versus Brian Flores, right? Because if you get the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, your defensive coordinator has to think about how he's going to play this on 3rd down. Am I sending pressure? I'm going to play conservatively. You know what I'm saying? They could run the ball still on 3rd and 5 and get those yards, really about 3rd and 4, right? They could still sneak in something like a screen or draw or something like that and pick up the first down if I go too light on my personnel, right? So if I go dime a nickel, they can still sneak one off on me and get it in. You got to keep them thinking on 3rd down. So single high safety. All right, let's see what happens with this motion right here. It's going to tell us what coverage we're in. Single high safety, what's happening with this motion? Good. We got nickel trailing, cover 3, cover man. Single high safety, cornerback trailing, and man coverage. Man coverage. And they got the matchup they like. They like St. Brown versus Kyler Gordon 1-on-1. We want to take a look at about two or three drives, maybe. I'm trying to keep this quick. Single high safety-ish. Let's see what's going on right here. Yeah, single high safety. Guys facing in outside leverage. I'm calling this cover 3. We got an additional man in the box. They shouldn't be getting that. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got an 8-man box. They shouldn't be getting this. And they're running to the weak side. They shouldn't be getting that. How did they get that? How did they get that versus 8-man box? See, good teams, they don't care. They're going to run against this 8, 7-man box, 8-man box. They're confident. How did they get it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3. Remember, I told y'all, football is a numbers game. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. Even though, and I want y'all to see something more specifically. I was talking about this when Luke Gessie calls plays. Watch this. This is the strategy of football. This is football 1-on-1. What's the strength of this offensive formation on Detroit's path? What is the strength of the formation? That's the first thing our team has to answer. What is the strength call, right? Usually it's something that starts with an R or L. You're going to go roar or lion, or you're going to call rip a Liz, right? Rip a Liz. Your middle linebacker's calling out. Rip a Liz. It's calling out the strength of the formation. And the strength of the formation is simply counting bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if I'm missing the guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Is that the tackle? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, don't count the running back. Count the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3. Somebody gave a wrong alignment call. It's a bad alignment. We got the bodies over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count this guy. 5. We got 1, 2, 3. We got 5 versus 3. They got 4 versus 3. They're at an advantage. Somebody gave a wrong alignment call right here. Right? This matters, right? This guy should be out here. This guy should be maybe inside or head up to the guard. Up to the center, right? You should be sliding. So when y'all see people slapping defensive linemen's butts to move them over, you see the linebackers doing that. That's what they're doing. They're moving them over to the numbers. I'm taking y'all inside. This is the inside scoop right here. Right here. You're not getting this a bunch of other places. When they're slapping butts to move defensive linemen over, they're trying to get them properly aligned because this guy has to have contained, right? Somebody has to have this gap, that gap, that gap, that gap between the defensive lineman and linebacker. So right now, this guy has contained. You know what I'm saying? Sanborn probably has this gap. Who has this gap right here? You know what I'm saying? A B gap right here is not being filled. Maybe that linebacker can get there, but guess what? Fullback comes. We're outnumbered. That's how this play goes for however many yards. It's 1st and 10. Detroit got us on this play. Got us outmanned. Numbers. We didn't have enough numbers over there. Right? And I talked about the Brian Flores tape, right? I talked about the Brian Flores tape. You can do that. That's the same concept. Let me go back a play. It doesn't matter, guys. When I say attack the blitz, you can run at a blitz the same way. It doesn't matter. Count the bodies because you can only have so many people on each side of the center. So count the bodies, check audible to run away from the numbers. On a quick toss, you can run a quick toss out here. So you see how we got all these bodies over here, all these numbers over here? If Brian Flores was blitzing and bringing pressure up top on first downs in the run, and he was putting bodies up here, first of all, you make it easier for the defensive linemen to get to the blitzers because you have them stacked in the hole in these double A gap looks, right? But the other thing you do is if you simply count the bodies, give your quarterback an audible and say, come up to the line of scrimmage, see what fronts you get. They name these fronts, by the way. This might be called this 52 or 53 look might be called black front or blue front or whatever, right? You come up here, you see you got a black or blue front, then you check. You can to your toss, quick toss away from the numbers, or you run away from the numbers. It don't matter. If they were in the blitz, look, you still got the numbers. You still can get yards off of this. It's bro, I promise you. It's what you teach. It's what you prepare your players for. It's being a strategic thinker and not a tactical thinker, right? It's playing the strategy of football. 2nd and 5 to come out of trips. Look, we're still too high safety. We roll coverage over the top. I'm imagining we going zone coverage because you want to see these guys matched up if we were in man. 1, 2, nobody has this guy. Safety, we're playing a too high zone, probably cloud coverage right here because everybody's off. So we're going to cover 4 versus trips. This is how we're saying on tape we're going to address trips this game, right? So let's see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Cloud coverage, even number coverage. Let's see how it goes. Watch Eddie right here. See if he rotates down or if he just stands pat and waits till the tight end comes to him. Oh, he rotates back. Okay. We spin coverage down. So we weren't in the true. Shout out to Coach Eberflus right here. We went in a 2 cover 2 look or a 2 cover 4, true cover 4 look. We spin Brisker down in the block and come back with a single high safety. Maybe go show cover 4, go to cover 3, mix up coverages to mess Jared up. This is when y'all talk about quarterbacks can't read defenses, this is what y'all don't know that y'all talking about. All the savants out there. This is what y'all don't know what y'all trying to describe a NFL quarterback that can't come up to the line of scrimmage and do what I just did. Oh, too high safety, cornerback depth and leverage. This is what coverages are, right? When y'all say a quarterback like Justin Fields can't read defenses, what y'all don't really know what y'all saying is y'all saying he can't figure this out. He can't figure out when a defense shows one look and rolls coverage out of this. Because if you use the typical reading acronym that I use, anybody can do that. But I want y'all to tell me how hard this is for an NFL quarterback. You got 4 seconds to run a play, 3.5 seconds to run a play, and he shows you cover 4, but watch what Matt Eberflus does at the snap of the ball. Snap of the ball, spin your safety down in the box, boom. We go from cover 4, cloud coverage, to cover 3, just like that. That fast. So how difficult do you think it is to read coverages dynamically? You're talking about reading. You're people are trying to say you can't read coverages or quarterback can't read rub, but really what they can't do is what they struggle with is reading coverages dynamically, actively. Anybody can read a coverage pre-play, especially if you got motion. 2 high safeties, cornerback depth, leverage. Send a guy in motion. The guy trails, that's man. If he doesn't trail, it's some kind of zone, right? Or pass off. If it's a pass off, it could be some kind of man too. But this rotating dynamically is what is difficult for NFL quarterbacks, right? Because you got to watch that spinning safety. And you have to have answers, right? You have to have answers. So if I see 2 high safety, and those answers have to be Those answers have to be plugged in by, guess who? The offensive coordinator. The coordinator's job is to have answers for, hey, if you see two high safety, even number coverages, and you see one of the safeties spin, instead of you sitting back there trying to dilly-dally with your reads, just go. Instead of you trying to guess, don't guess. I provided an answer for you. Don't guess. I provided an answer for you, Ben Johnson. So instead of having Jared Goff guess, I provided an answer for you. And watch this. He didn't take the answer. This is Jared Goff can't read coverages. Ben Johnson we spin the safety down and he throws it right into trouble. Because your tight end gets bumped by the outside was this safety nickel. He gets bumped off his mark. Tyreek Stevenson gets an interception because Jared Goff didn't take the answer. He didn't take the answer. A good coordinator provides answer. Here's your answer right there, buddy. That's David Montgomery. David Montgomery is going to catch that ball and fall for a first down. But Jared, do we say Jared Goff can't read coverages? I'm teaching, man. I'm teaching. I'm cooking right now. I feel it. I'm in my bag right now. This is why I love doing this stuff, bro. I'm cooking. You get a turnover, man. See what I'm talking about? All right, let's go to another drive. We get a turnover. We on offense, all that good stuff. That was great. That's why I said Ben Johnson, interception. That's why I said Matt Eberflus had Ben Johnson's number in his game. Rotating coverages. He went cover 2, spun the safety down, cover 4, right? He got his number. He got Jared Goff's number. All right, here we go. Coming out 2 high safety, inside, outside leverage here. What is this guy doing? What is Tyreek doing? They rotate up. So watch this. Watch this. What happened right here? 2 high safety. Remember, SDL, safeties, depth, leverage. At first, they was off with inside leverage. Nice move by Jalen right here. He rotates in last minute to get bumped up on him, right? This is 2-man, right? Now, after the snap of the ball, it could be something else. But right now, he's showing 2-man, right? They could dynamic roll out of this. He comes back outside leverage. He could have rotated 2-man, but they're going with the quick toss right here. So since this is a toss play, let's talk numbers. So let's call it 2-man, right? 1, 2, 3. We're not counting the fullback. This guy rotating over. So 1, 2, 3. This guy coming over. He's your 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3. And I'm not counting this guy in the box. They gave themselves a numbers advantage. We got to do better with alignments. We got to do better with alignment. And this guy rotates over. The linebackers got to be moving him. They got to be moving the defensive lineman over. They got to move him to the 1, move him to the 3. Make sure you get your numbers right. Because usually the run play is going to go wherever the tight end and the fullback is, right? Our alignment is off right here. So he go right here. Now count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 versus this guy way inside at the 1 technique. 2, 3. They winning. They gonna win. And then watch this. Oh my God. And then they bring another tight end in motion last second to give them an extra body. Now that's 5 versus 3. Hey man, we played it well. Who was that? Shout out to Tyreek, man. We should have lost that play. Should have lost that. Let's see what he did right there. Let me see that. I'm sorry that we should have lost that play. I think, oh shoot. Oh man. I think if that wasn't a toss, if it was just a handoff, we get our lunch ate. Meaning they get too far out and they throw the play. They run the play at Tyreek. Tyreek comes out here. This is what he does that right. Woo. He makes that line. He makes that tight end miss. Boom. What you want to do is come out here and attack. You want to come up here and attack his outside shoulder and force that running back to cut back to the pursuit. But I think he makes the first guy whiff and still attacks the outside shoulder. Yeah, David probably should have cut this outside, but he ran back to this guy. But yeah, you want to force him back to the pursuit because all you got the game coming. Tyreek played that well. And that tight end block, he pissed down his leg on that block. His coach would be mad on you. See that on film. All right, 2nd and 10, too high safety, outside leverage, cover 2 zone. Ooh, he's lucky. It's incompletion. Jared Lucky right here. This wasn't an interception. Brisker versus St. Brown. Be a good matchup today. Watching St. Brown do his thing. Brisker plays outside leverage. See, he was there. He was in the vicinity. You still feel good about that. Too high safety, cornerbacks out, 2 zone, cover 4, cloud. He's showing cloud coverages versus trips. They still in cloud. How did y'all get that versus cloud, bro? How did y'all get that? It's a deep like sit. Oh, no. Yeah, it's a deep like comeback. Deep curl versus cover 4. And good route concept. So they send this guy out. Is Kyler off his landmark? Who is this? Kyler? 1, 2, 3, 4. He should have hook to curl, hook to flats, hook to curl, let me see, hook to flats, hook to flats. This route brought Kyler off his mark. Otherwise, Kyler would have been there. But this is a good route concept by Ben Johnson. He knows what he has. He just beat him. And this is what I talk about with Luke Gessie. Do your route concepts win versus our opponent the way our opponents win versus us? It's a smart route concept, right? You got this flat route going. It's going to take Kyle away. And then you got cover 4 look. You're going to run this guy off. You're going to run him to depth and then curl this guy inside. So Jared Goff's reads is 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Also talking about this too. When I talk about connecting your quarterback's eyes as an offensive coordinator, guess what? 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 makes sense logically. That's creating a window. You create a window with your quarterback's reads for his progression, right? So picture this. You create a window with his eyes that he can just read and all the routes come within his window. His head is not all over the place. Windows, create a window. 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, right? Not 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You see what I'm looking at? See what I'm saying with that? Do your routes do that? Look at how this route concept. I want y'all to hate to show our other opponents showing our coordinator up, but this is just a great example of creating a good window. 1 to 2 to 3. You see this guy coming back into the window. So his eyes are going to move smoothly. 1, not open. Oh, I'm going to stick on this one. He looks like he's open. I'm going to stick on this one for a while. I like this. If this is not here, if this guy was up on him like this, or Kyler was trailing back, he's going to this guy smoothly. 1, 2, 3. You see this guy coming into the window? Our coordinator would have this guy running here, running away, right? Running away from the window over here. He would have him running here, away, and have this guy on the backside clapping his hand. You know what I'm saying? And y'all will be on all 22, not knowing what you're looking at, talking about he was wide open. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. Keep it super simple. Ken's principle. Smartly coordinating. I like that, man. Can't knock the hustle. Another Jay-Z reference. All right, here we go. 2 high safety. Man pressed up. 2 man. Let's see if they send a man in motion. Man in motion. You see that? See what happened right there? That's what I'm talking about. See the alignment change? See defensive alignment, switch the alignment. Now they're getting a proper alignment. I was talking about that earlier. It all matters, bro. Devil's in the details. See that switch over? You see the one technique and the three technique change places. Three technique. Oh, now I'm at the one. You at the three. That's why you got to be able to play both. Interior defensive lineman. You see the linebacker step over? That's because the strength of the numbers changed. They couldn't stay over there because they would leave a gap open over to the strength of the formation. That's why that happens. See the linebacker step over? Yep. Now we got alignment. Now, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Now we got alignment. Now you can't run at their strength and we not have it fulfilled because everybody has a gap. Remember him there, A gap, B gap, contain. He has the backside B. He has the front side A, contain. Every gap is fulfilled. It's called gap responsibilities. Imagine that. Two high safety looks like man. They take a shot versus man, and we get a BS pass interference call. Y'all let me know how we doing in the chat right now. Are y'all learning something? Is this good? All right, I'm gonna probably finish out of this series right here. This is good. This is the nerd stuff. I'm learning. I'm learning as I go through film and I watch film, watch other coordinators how they tack stuff. This is how I add stuff to my toolbox as a play caller. All right, single back set. How many tight ends we got here? 1, 2. They got 2 tight ends, 12 personnel under center. 12 personnel under center. You know what I'm saying? I said this on Friday's show. You know what I'm saying? I kind of backed off of my take that I expected us to lose this game, but styles make fights. It's a boxing reference right here. Styles make fights. When you're under center, heavy 12 and 13 personnel, cold weather, outside in Chicago, this team is built to win outside. They're built. I'm sorry, guys. They're built to win outside versus what we do. We come out in shotgun, 11 personnel. We want our quarterback to throw the ball all over the yard. And if we do that today, we're going to lose in the cold weather, even at home. You know what I'm saying? This guy, I refuse to believe this guy is playing so much better than Jared Goff, that he played at LA. They simplified this offense and made it user-friendly. You know what I'm saying? They made it user-influenced. We like our technology, we like our phones to be what we call intuitive, right? We like it to be intuitive, meaning easy to use. You make your offense easy to use. It doesn't have to be complex to be competitive. This is an intuitive offense for this kid, setting him up for success. Under center, just bully ball. Somebody wets the bed and get a penalty right there, but yeah. Just bully ball. You're saying, my God, listen, if they get away from this, they get away with this play. If Detroit gets away with this play in football and coaching, we say there's no adjustment for, we're just bigger, badder, and stronger than you. There's no adjustment for that. There's no strategy. There's nothing you can do about that. At some point during the football game, as an offensive play caller, you have to instill that mentality in your football team. When I have a new team, a new offense, the first thing I do is install my power concepts. That's the first thing I install. I get under center. I get 1 or 2 tight ends in the game. I usually go my pro set, which is 1 tight end, a fullback, power I. I go 1 tight end, a fullback, and a running back. I install that for first as a principle to instill in the mentality of my football team, my offensive football team. I want you guys to be able to come up to the line of scrimmage in a formation such as this. And I want you to be able to point to a hole, a gap, and I want us to be able to run this play, and there's nothing the defense can do about it. I'm trying to instill a mentality of a physical football team in my offensive football team, because at the end of the day, this football is meant to be played physical with physicality, right? And I want you to have the mentality that we're just bigger and badder than the other team. If we needed 1, 2, 3, 4 yards off a play like this, We can get it at will, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just drop your drawers. Just drop your drawers and just take it. Pause. Ain't nothing. You just cover your ears. Diddy style. Pause. I'm sorry. It was just too easy. That was a layup for me. I had to take it. Like, you got to have that mentality. Like, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. No matter what. That's what they're trying to establish right here. Y'all just can't hang with us, Chicago. But they didn't know we had Zach Pickens. They didn't know we had Zach Pickens. When you got young cats doing stuff like this right here. When you got young dogs, young bulls doing stuff like this, watch Zach Pickens. I just noticed this. Whoop. Whoop. Center guard piss down his leg right there and get caught for a holding call. You win that rep. I'm sorry. That got me fired up right there because that's how I coach. I coach like that right there, man. I'm like, big dog style. Oh, we got a pick right here too. Oh, this was the second interception. I'm gonna get y'all out of here. Too high safety. Too high. Let's see what this coverage is though. Watch the corners. Corner off. Two zone or cloud. It's either 2 or 4. 2 zone or 4. This guy's jumping. Is it man? No, it's a zone. Hold on now. Somebody's trailing on the front side. Somebody's running with on the front side, and we got zone on the back side. So this might be quarters, halves. Let me see. Let's see what happens right here. Yeah, buddy. We got in the quarter, half situation. This might cover 6 or cover 8. Coach Flus is getting busy out here with these coverages, bro. No, that's the interception. No, let's go back. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. Hitting wrong buttons and stuff. I'm getting excited. Yeah, so quarters, half, cover 6 or cover 8. These guys are manned up, kind of sort of on the front side. These guys are zoned on the back side. Confuses the hell out of Jared Goff. So his read should be 1, 2. He should have something on the back end. 1, 2. Now, maybe this is not so much an intuitive play call. Remember the windows I was describing? Because if he's going 1, 2, 3, it should be somebody either entering this window already or they're coming. Let's see what happens. See what I'm saying? How do I know this? That's how you design plays, bro. 1, 2, somebody should be entering this window. It gets tipped. Yeah, or you see what happens? We had Flus. When I said Flus had Ben Johnson's number, in the defensive play calls, this is what I'm talking about. There's nowhere for you to go with this. Quarters, half. We got zone on the backside, which is cover 6 or cover 8. I think it's I think the way it goes is if to the half side. So half, quarters is 8, and quarters, half. Half, quarters is 8. Half, quarters is 8. And quarters, half is 6. I could have that backwards. All right. Either way, watch this. Gone, taken away. 1, 2. Is there an answer everywhere? This is taken away. This is bracketed. 3 on 2. This guy, all he has to do is step down because the progression is 1, 2, 3. The progression is right to left. And do we have all the windows covered? Yes. Flus just took his lunch because this guy's coming down. This guy's peeling off. But that's huge. That is genius. That's when you know you in your bag as a coordinator, bro. That's when you know you in your bag as a coordinator. But anyway, hopefully we can get a lot of that stuff going this week. A lot of we can keep that stuff going on today. We can stay in our bag. I believe we can be able to do it defensively. The question is all about the offense, but I wanted to show y'all some defense. I want to show y'all some defense and you know what I'm saying? Because we normally don't do defense tape. Shout out to my guy, Bearlismo, always giving nuggets out in the chat. So shout out to Bearlismo. But listen, y'all enjoy the game today. I'm Coach Steve, Chicago Bears 360. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you're watching this on the playback, like I said, man, make sure y'all go and run this back. Run this back on Monday to see, you know what I'm saying, if I was out, you know what I'm saying, if I was on one or I know what I'm talking about or whatever. Either way, if you watch this on the playback, like, subscribe to the channel, hang out with us, man. Become part of the family. We would love to have you hang out with us. Like I said, I'm your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Y'all can catch me on Tuesday. We have Tuesday, Hot Take Tuesday, right? We're going to be in here, Hot Take Tuesday. And guess what? Until Chicago Bears land decide otherwise, guess what?
Look at the screen.
That's mine.
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm going to stick beside him.
And I'm going to stick beside him. At the end of the day, until they replace him, that's my quarterback. I'm going to stick beside him. Like I said, it's Coach T with Chicago Bears 360 until Tuesday at 5 p.m. Switch the time. Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's always Bears up. And y'all know what's next. Bear down. See y'all next time. Peace.